your NBA player props and bombs for this January 30th Monday edition of Mr. BMatt's Time to Shine on OddsChecker TV. As always, he's Brian Matthews, aka BMatt. I'm Matias. Brian, I hope we're rebounding from what was a pretty rough player prop Sunday in the NFL. I hope we have some winning picks for us today, at least.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to mention that. It was a little bit of a bloodbath, especially when San Francisco lost anybody with the ability to throw further than 5 yards down the field, and they're running the ball down 20. So, that's the good thing with the NBA, though. I'll say this, NFL, if you have a tough weekend, you got to sit on that weekend, right? So NBA, you have a tough night, you go right back at it the next day.
Yeah, NFL and golf are pretty brutal overall to bet on because golf, you're like, shit, like I completely missed that. And then you're like, oh, I got to wait. Hey, at least you only have to wait a couple days, but there's quite a bit to sit on. But we have a couple winning picks for you for this Monday that you have to hit. Just taking a look at how we did last week. You continued a pretty solid stretch here. You hit Darius Garland over 2.5 threes, CP3 over 9.5 assists. You did miss on the Bulls win and Vooch's 12 plus rebounds, which you combined. So you ended up coming out, I think, about plus 9 units. I got burned by the Bulls, it was -6. Again, we did caution because there was quite a bit of injury news that hadn't come out yet. Ended up everyone played in that game, and the Bulls continued to embarrass themselves. And then Jason Tatum really burned me there. He hit 2 threes like in the first 4 minutes against the Knicks, and I mean, that was just the theme of that game in general. Just the Celtics just could not close out a game they absolutely should have won. Just throwing that in there again for our video producer Nigel to sit on. But yeah, I'm coming off a rough weekend, so I'm ready to rebound and go 2 for 2 today.
You're due.
That's all I know. All right, so let's hop right into it. You have 3 picks for us today. Start from the top. Give us your bets for Monday.
All right, so I'm going to go with another player performance double in one of these slots. So I'm going to go. Look, the Lakers are going to be without Anthony Davis tonight. They're going to be without LeBron James tonight. So I'm looking at Nicholas Claxton, a guy who's been playing very well over this recent stretch here with Kevin Durant out. He's shouldering a much larger burden on the scoring end, but he's also been rebounding the ball very well. So Thomas Bryant's who he goes up against tonight. I do like Thomas Bryant as well, but the matchup is much easier with him there. And a couple of the other big bodies out. So I like Nicholas Claxton, double-double, Nets to win, and that's -106 on FanDuel. So I'm going to go with that on my first pick. Like that it's close to plus money, even though it's 2 legs, basically. I like the pick.
Yeah, speaking of the Lakers, I think just obviously a huge missed call on Saturday. It was rough, but just the meme library that we got out of LeBron just acting like he just saw a massacre right in front of him was rough. And look, I get it. Like, that's a rough missed call, and the Lakers, suck. But that was rough. So interesting spot for them to rebound. What else we got today?
All right. So look, another guy. Look, OG Anunoby, he's out. He's a solid player for the Raptors. So I'm gonna jump over to the Toronto Phoenix game. Look, without OG Anunoby, and if you look back, Gary Trent has scored 24+ against the Suns team in his last 2 games. So he's needed, with OG sitting out, he's going to be, relied on a little bit more heavily. And the best part is the Suns give up the second most points to the position. So when you're looking at a player who's got a good history, and then you happen to see, well, the matchup lines up nicely, and I'm going to take Gary Trent over 18.5 points. Thought about doing a mini ladder, but we'll stick with the main straight here on this one.
All right, I like it. That's there's a combo of teams that have just been wildly disappointing this season. So isn't that great to hear? Hit me with number 3.
All right, so look, this is the last one. I took this one this morning. This was Rudy Gobert. Generally a player I hate betting on. Really don't like betting on Rudy Gobert. Mm-hmm. Very limited skill set offensively. So if he's not getting rebounds, he's not doing much. So look, I like the over 11.5 rebounds in this spot. Sacramento, they'll chuck up a lot of shots, not the greatest shots too. So I like Gobert. He's a big body down there. I think he matches up well as far as size and the ability to crash the glass against DeMontis. So I'm going to go with over 11.5 rebounds. That was -110 when I locked it in. So we're going to go with the big man Gobert here and hope it doesn't burn me.
Yeah, those two teams kind of trending in opposite directions here.
Yeah.
The Kings have been good all season; they've kind of been struggling, and the T Wolves apparently have figured out how to play basketball again. So that's always great to hear in Minnesota. Okay, so you have your three locked in for this week.
Mhm.
I, as usual, am going with one line, or I'll go with one spread, and I'll go with one player prop. And I picked two games. I like the prop in each one and a spread in each one. So I'm going to give you both. I'll let you decide, but I'll tell you what my official plays are. I'm looking for a big rebound this week. I'm going to start with Jalen Duren. Points, rebounds, assists, over 20.5 here. Obviously, plays for the Pistons. I think this is a big spot here for him. They're playing the Mavs. Obviously, Luka has been out to this point. He's technically still questionable today, but I doubt he's going to play. Like they're going to take it easy with him. Like they're in a weird spot. They are probably still going to make the playoffs unless things really hit the fan.
Yeah.
But even with Luka there, obviously no Christian Wood, they have struggled against bigs. They are not good inside the paint, both in stopping bigs from scoring and also rebounding here. The concern here, obviously, is Isaiah Stewart. He missed one game last week, but they split a lot of time. Isaiah Livers is there too. But he's hit this in 7 of his last 10 games. And he didn't hit it last game, which I think is the reason this line is a little further down here. But I do like that you can get that at minus 120 on DraftKings. If you want to take the Pistons plus 8.5 against the Mavs at minus 110, you probably want to grab that before any Luka news comes out. But again, I think this line kind of just shows that they're expecting that he might have a chance. But again, I don't think they rush it back. I would grab this line now, or I guess depending on what you think his status is going to be. Apparently, not a popular opinion. 56% of DraftKings bettors think that the Mavs are going to cover again that 8.5 spot there. So choose whichever one you like there. How are we feeling about this little Mavs Pistons prediction?
Hey, look, I like it. I think it's a solid prediction. And look, going to Durant, I like him. I mean, I've been playing his, double prop here for a little bit. Last game, if you actually watch the game, he was involved early, and the Pistons in the second half went to a very strange rotation, which Durant didn't get back involved in the game. So, I don't know that's, I don't want to look too far into that. Like you said, I think that's a lot of reason why this line has moved down a little bit. But he was, prior to those two games, I think he had scored 16 and 20 points, right? So he's capable of hitting this line. He's a plus rebounder too. The assists, it's a bonus, really, because you're adding one on there. So he can get it done from both ends. I like the coverage you get. So I think Duren plays well tonight.
Yeah, I was looking for points rebounds, and it wasn't up yet. And honestly, I just wanted to punch it in before the show. But again, if you get 2 assists from him, you'll absolutely take it. In that, but this is essentially a points and rebounds. And if I can get someone who essentially averages a double-double over the last, 15-ish games at 20.5, I'll certainly take it. Game number 2 that I am looking at is Warriors and Thunder. And the Warriors minus 4.5 on DraftKings. It's 5 on a lot of the books. I really like the minus 4.5. But I'm also looking at Steph over 27.5 points. So I'm going to decide to go with Warriors minus 4.5 and Duren over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists for my official picks. But Steph at over 27.5 points, I think the line, again, is still adjusting from him coming back. He's been looking more like Steph the last couple of games. He's hit this in 4 of his last 5. That other game, they didn't hit it. He had 26 in, so he was in that ballpark. And the Thunder have just not been good against opposing point guards. These are the last 4 games I'll read to you. Garland, Trae Young, Jamal Murray, and De'Aaron Fox all had 25-plus points against OKC and in their last 2 games. So you have Garland and Trae Young. They each had 30-plus. So honestly, even if you want to jump on Steph 30-plus points, 35-plus points, I think it was like plus 600 to get Steph and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He did clarify that it is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, to get them both at like plus 35 points. You can jump on that if you'd like, but I'll stick to something a little more basic here because I'm trying to get back on track. So Warriors minus 4.5 and Steph over 27.5 points for me tonight.
And I like I like Steph. Here's the reason why Oklahoma City plays teams tough. Like you say what you will, but they keep it close with teams, and that's kind of the recipe you look for, right? All right, I don't want to find a game with a blowout. Steph's night could be done early, right? Where they kind of want to be cautious with them. So the Thunder have been playing teams tight, and they also get in shootouts. Like you said, it's not a ton of defense in this game. And then conversely, you've got the Warriors. So it should be a high scoring game. So points, I like the points in this one. The only thing that always worries me with Steph is like on any given night, he can just decide like, I'm not going to shoot 10 threes. I'm just going to, I'll have 10 assists, 7 rebounds, like 14 points. But I think tonight he should be in a good spot to score.
Well, that's great to hear that you have a little bit of faith, at least. I do want to ask you about a game that we haven't covered yet. A really interesting line here. It's the Sixers and the Magic, of course, my Orlando Magic. Literally because I picked them one time to cover the best team in the NBA. If you're a Celtics fan, apparently, we got 54% of the handle coming in on the Magic plus 9.5, but 58% of the bets coming in on the Sixers minus 9.5. I want to ask, how do you play a team when, a different sports team in that city is coming off a big win? Because obviously the Eagles had that huge win. We saw Embiid and Harden out partying, or that they were at least watching the game. Assume they were partying with Lil Baby. I saw Kevin Hart was there. Lil Uzi Vert came out with the Eagles. So, do you play that any differently? Because, it's the whole myth of like the night out in Miami and then teams playing worse the day after. Does that actually factor into that at all for you, or is it funny?
Yeah, like for this one, I look at that and I say, all right, like not only were Harden and Embiid there, but you saw PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, you saw, basically that's, we're talking about their starting lineup here. And the other thing that kind of, I think, I had in mind when looking at this, Magic plus 9.5 was, Embiid played max minutes last game, and he dominated Jokic. He really did, took it to him. And normally they're pretty cautious with, Embiid when he's playing max minutes. And then you combine that with the fact that, they were all out late last night. Hey, you never know, they could get off to a slow start, but, the Magic are proven to be a tough team. At least they play teams tough recently, especially the Celtics. And, so I think when you do look at it, you kind of have to factor that in, just a little bit of it. So I'll be interested. I think they might come out sluggish tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe let's see if the Philly nightlife or lack thereof. I don't know. I'm sure there's some fun stuff to do there. It's just that city's just an enemy of mine, but that's an own personal vendetta.
Yeah, that sounds like a you thing, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I have beef with Philly, apparently. Let's go through the top 5 most bet on props now, according to DraftKings. Of course, we're going to give you the odds for these on DraftKings, but always use our grid and make sure you are getting the best odds across any sports book. So I'm going to read you the top 5 odds like we do every week. I want you to tell me if anything's crazy, anything you're absolutely tailing. So we got a good amount of plus money odds actually this week. A lot of times we just end up getting chalk, but it's interesting this week at least. We got Kyle Kuzma, obviously, of the Wizards against my Spurs, over 7.5 rebounds, plus 110. You have Markelle Fultz under 11.5 points. That's the game we just talked about against the Sixers at plus 100. Steph Curry over 27.5 points, minus 115. So that's not great news for me. Fred VanVleet, double-double, yes, at plus 625. Again, that's Raptors against Suns. And then Chris Paul over 17.5 points at minus 115. That is that same thing. So again, the odds are displayed on your screen. Those are the top 5 most bet on player props in the NBA tonight, according to DraftKings. BMatt, tell me the vibe check here. Good, bad, anything you don't like?
Look, I don't love a lot of them. Look, Steph Curry points I can live with. Don't worry, that's not the one I'm singling out here.
Okay, cool.
But I think Fred VanVleet, could be a solid candidate for a double. I mean, plus 600, very solid odds. No OG, but if I were to look at those, I don't know that I'd love Chris Paul's points. Cam Johnson's been doing a really good job of playing kind of that. Him and Mikal Bridges are doing a really good job of playing the primary scorers with Ayton right now. So I like Chris Paul's assists. I wouldn't jump at the points. And look, I know Markelle Fultz is anemic offensively, but again, if the 76ers do decide to rest some guys, or if they come out flat, you just never know. And as I'll often say, and a lot of other people will, life's a little bit too short to bet under. So I'm trying to think, what else do we have on the board there?
So we had the Kuzma over 7.5 rebounds.
Yes, all right. So
and then
that one, all right. So that one, the only thing that worries me about that one is Porzingis, right? So it looks like he's playing tonight, and yes, Kuzma's been hitting that line, regularly, but with Kristaps back in the rotation, I'm not sure that he's going to see that many rebounds tonight. I mean, he's always a candidate to randomly have a triple double, but I think with Porzingis back, I think he might go under that.
Can't sleep on a Jakob Poeltl 25 rebound night tonight. So make sure
25. Can you bet that somewhere?
I don't know that I would. I'm more so saying that as a Spurs homer, but
there you go.
Oh
yeah, and I forgot I had a bonus pick too. Don't let me forget that.
Oh yeah, hit us. You got one more left for today.
All right, so look, I'm going back to this Raptors-Suns game. I like Precious Achiuwa. I think 4 out of his last 5 games, he's had a double-double. I look at the matchup. I like the matchup. I think it's one that suits him well. He's been crashing the glass in 4 of his last 5. He's had 11-plus rebounds. And he's also been scoring a lot more recently too. So with OG out, Precious, there's a kind of his usage, he gets a bump there. There's a usage bump, and it should be a solid matchup for him. So that's at plus 195 right now on FanDuel. I haven't seen if it's plus 200 anywhere, but plus 195 should be a little bonus play for everyone.
All right, so we got some props to hit on tonight, some spreads to hit on, and of course, never bet a team after another team in the city goes to the Super Bowl. BMatt, appreciate you joining the show. As always, I'll talk to you on Thursday with some more winning bets from the NBA.
Appreciate you, Matias.